site.
Tonight on WTOL 11 Plus, now an attack outside a synagogue in the UK.
At least 2 people killed. Everything we know tonight.
We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues.
It's day 2 of the government shutdown, and the Trump administration has threatened to carry out mass layoffs of federal workers if the stalemate continues, whether we're any closer to this shutdown ending.
And 2 planes collide on the ground at one of America's busiest airports.
Thanks for joining us here on WTOL 11 Plus. I'm Dan Cummins.
And I'm Kaylee Maritat. Our big story tonight, debris continues to sit in a North Toledo neighborhood after a fire in June. The fire happened at the former Moore Brothers bottling building at the intersection of LaGrange and Palmer.
Toledo mayoral candidate Roberto Torres and neighbors are speaking out, saying they want to see the site cleaned up. They say the site was already listed for demolition before the fire, and since then it's been causing more issues. Megan Hartnett has more on that story.
It was definitely a big blaze.
The pile of bricks and burnt building have built up 3 months since the former Moore Brothers bottling building caught on fire. The heap has kept growing as neighbors say people have started to dump their own trash there.
Not only that, but you're also concerned about what environmental hazards could this be to the young children that actually just are dropped off at the bus stop just right down the street here.
Some of the sidewalks aren't even walkable because they're covered in rubble. The neighbors who live across the street say they're tired of having to look at the eyesore while they're still dealing with their own issues from the fire.
The heat got so intense that it melted my front and side of my house, melted the siding.
Cleophas Staples says he hasn't heard anything from the city about what's going on with the property.
There is homeowners on the 300 block of Palmer, and I know I'm one of them. I pay taxes. Haven't missed a note, so hey, come and get this stuff because it's hazardous.
Property records show the building belongs to Rickman Edward, but neighbors say it's on the city because the building was listed to be demolished before the fire.
The city cannot wait until these things happen in order for it to take action. It's been 3 months. They need to do it.
Mayoral candidate Roberto Torres says this is just a small part of a bigger issue in the city.
What needs to happen is funding needs to be prioritized so that we focus on our neighborhoods. And the reason for that is that we know that that people spend money where they live. So if we can create more residents in neighborhoods, they're going to stay there longer.
Megan joins us now. Now, you were at the property. I've seen your story, so it looked like it had a firebomb there. You've been in there in person. What it looked like to you?
I mean, it's kind of crazy because I feel like videos just don't do it justice. I mean, the piles, some of them were as tall as me, and I mean, they just, it's a huge lot. The entire lot is just filled with bricks and debris, and then you see all the stuff that's been put there. I mean, there's full like hubcaps from trucks and bent like the front ends of cars and couches and stuff. I mean, it's really
so it's turned into a garbage dump basically because it was just sitting there as if the city says it's a dump, everybody else treating it as a garbage dump.
That's where, yeah, I mean, I was talking to some of the neighbors. They say, you know, people would come and put stuff in the first few days or weeks even, you know, they would put it on that side or they would do it at night. And now they said people will just come during the middle of the day and just dump stuff. And they even said, you know, there's an empty lot across the street. They're like, people have started putting stuff on the lot across.
I guess in their defense, if they think the city's going to come and clean this up, which they haven't in 3 months, then they'll take that junk of ours too that we just leave in there, whether it's a couch or anything.
That's, I mean, we see this pretty much every time when there's a fire or, you know, properties, these nuisance properties and stuff. People will just go and they'll put their stuff on these properties.
So you've talked to the neighbors. Nobody wanted to talk on camera probably, but what did they tell you off camera?
You know, when we were talking, they were saying that it's just an eyesore. And I mean, they said, you know, you see the debris and then you see people playing on it, people going through it and stuff like that. And they're worried about, you know, if anyone gets hurt, you know, who's responsible then? And even just the sides of like the trees in the area are just all burnt. you can just see the charring on all the trees there. I mean, they said it's really crazy that they just haven't heard from the city. Like they say that no one from the city has been out to talk with them.
Okay, so you've done stories before on blight and urban decay. There's plenty of it in the area to do it, but how is this process of cleanup going to happen?
So when there's stuff like this with the fire, sometimes it can become a little bit more complicated, especially with the older buildings, which is what we see a lot of times here in Toledo, is that, sometimes the EPA has to be called out. They have to check for like asbestos and other stuff like that. So sometimes there's a lot of behind the scenes work going on that's going into cleaning up these properties, but we just see it for the 3, 6, 9 months, however long it takes to get it actually cleaned up.
It'd be nice to get this cleaned up before winter, probably.
The neighbors are saying they hope to get it done as soon as possible. And that's why, they've gone through summer, which is when you get the heat and you get the animals and vermin. So I'm sure they would hope it's cleaned up before winter.
Megan, thanks for your background on the story. Appreciate it. Kaylee?
Well, federal authorities are trying to figure out what led to a plane collision at one of New York City's major airports. Plus, the government shutdown has entered its second day. Where things currently stand between lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the latest on an explosion inside of an apartment building in New York. But first, police have made 2 arrests after a man went on a stabbing spree outside of a synagogue in the UK. Police say a man drove a car into people and started stabbing them. Officers then arrived and killed the suspect. At least 2 people were killed and several others were hurt. The attacker did not make it into the synagogue. Authorities are calling it a terror attack. It's day 2 of the government shutdown and not much has changed. Republicans are still pushing for essentially an extension of current funding levels for another 7 weeks. And Democrats are looking for concessions on enhanced Obamacare subsidies. The Trump administration has threatened to carry out mass layoffs of federal workers if the stalemate continues. Cleanup efforts are underway after an explosion caused a New York building chimney to collapse. Crews say the demolition will take a while because they can't use heavy machinery because they're worried about causing more damage. Authorities in the Bronx say the blast appears to have started in the boiler. An investigation into the cause is underway still. Police say no one was injured. Two planes collided at one of New York City's major airports. According to the FAA, a regional flight arriving from Charlotte, North Carolina, was taxiing to its gate Wednesday night at LaGuardia when it was struck by another regional aircraft bound for Roanoke, Virginia. Both Delta airline planes were going at a low speed at the time. No passengers were hurt, but one flight attendant did suffer minor injuries and was taken to the hospital. Dan?
Still to come, the story on how one choir is proving it's not just about the pitch, but how the most powerful music comes from the heart.
It's believed to be the longest painting in North America.
Plus, we'll take you inside an art museum where it's believed the longest painting in the United States is on display. More on the story it tells straight ahead. John?
And turning up the heat into the weekend, even though it's the first weekend of October, it's going to feel more like a late summertime within a few degrees of record highs. I have your full 10-day forecast coming up next.
If you're watching us on WTOL 11 Plus, you already know about our exclusive streaming platform, but do you follow WTOL 11 on social media? Right now, there's video you have to see on our TikTok page. Here's one that has a lot of people talking.
Toledoans, your drive from Toledo to Columbus could soon be up to 30 minutes faster. The Ohio Department of Transportation just dropped a new report on a proposed highway connector that would connect US 23 to I-71. They've been talking about this for decades, and now it may finally happen. ODOT says right now traffic on US 23 through Delaware County is already 30% over capacity. They started with 7 different route proposals, and now they're just down to 1, and that's in Ashley, Ohio, and Delaware County. This is a project ODOT says could cost up to $1.5 billion. But there's still some things being decided, such as should this be a toll road?
Make sure you're following WTOL 11 on your favorite social media platform to stay up to date. Taylor Swift is about to enter her showgirl era. The singer-songwriter's new album will be available on all major streaming platforms at midnight. It's called The Life of a Showgirl. It'll also be sold on vinyl, CD, and cassette. This is Swift's 12th original studio album and her first since she became the owner of her entire music catalog. There's a free-floating planet that's been packing on pounds. It's located in Chameleon constellation, about 620 light years away from Earth. According to a study published in the Astrophysical Journal Letters, the rogue planet has a mass of at least 5 times that of Jupiter, getting bigger by the second. Astronomers say the growth spurt shown by this planet is highly unusual and star-like. It's estimated to be between 1 and 2 million years old, which is by astronomical standards pretty young.
I was just going through a growth spurt, you know, those teenage
Yeah,
years.
puberty.
It's so funny that we actually can get video and talk about this and show it because, you know, everything was pretty much done before, but we're seeing in real time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, Jupiter is a massive planet, and to think 5 to 10 times the size of that in terms of its mass, that is a big ball of gas.
I can't top that line.
On that note, how's the weather?
Enjoying this summertime weather, John.
Yeah, looking up in the sky tomorrow, you're going to want those sunglasses. Going to be feeling like summer. How about some mid-80s in October? Feeling a little like summer. So let's jump into your forecast as we head towards that first weekend of October. Temperatures climbing up into the mid-80s under mostly sunny skies, and we're going to be well above average in the temperature department through about midweek. Sunday, we could rival record levels. We're forecasting a high of 86, and the current standing October 5th record that comes from 2007. That record high is at 88 degrees, so likely to be just shy of that. Now, with the warmth, we're going to continue to see this dry stretch of weather, and we have new data in on the Ohio Drought Monitor showing now that 74% of the Buckeye State is under a moderate drought, 18% are under severe drought, and 4% of Ohio under an extreme drought. And it just so happens that extreme drought is impacting our viewing area. I want to show you that in bright red there in parts of Wood and Hancock County over towards Henry, Putnam, Defiance, Paulding, and Van Wert counties. That is where the worst of the drought is ongoing. Now, this has really expanded over the last week. Much of the I-75 corridor from Findlay northbound is seeing that extreme drought. As far as the Toledo Metro, still a dire rainfall deficit. We're seeing severe drought across southern Lucas County, and essentially all of Wood County is under a severe or an extreme drought. Temperature-wise, a little on the cooler side this evening as we have dropped back to the lower 70s, upper 60s near the lake shore. Although we are going to be warming up into the weekend, you'll see temperatures still close to 80 south and west of Toledo, Defiance over towards Ottawa and into Hancock County. And those are some of the spots that are going to really be feeling that hint of summer in the air. High pressure over New England is continuing to churn out sunny days. There has been a little bit of that upper level cloud cover. Perhaps you saw those wispy cirrus clouds or even just some beautiful colors in the sky. A lot of folks reporting halos around the sun due to the refraction or the bending of the light around those cirrus cloud particles. Temperature-wise, we're going to be around 50 degrees at daybreak tomorrow. Afternoon highs surge to the mid-80s, and that's a sign of a very warm weekend ahead. So what about that Big Board Friday forecast? Another winning forecast will be at 76 at kickoff and still staying around 70 degrees for the fourth quarter. Into the weekend, totally dry conditions are expected, 86 both days, and Sunday is likely to be close to the current standing record high. So what about rain chances? Our next cold cold front comes in on Tuesday, and that 40% shower chance is really the only meaningful chance that we have for any sort of rainfall in this forecast. The weekend, the big impact is that feel that'll have you thinking summertime. Into next week, a change in the weather comes Tuesday with showers, followed by a strong cold front. And by Wednesday, you're going to want that light jacket or hoodie because it is going to be a cooler fall feel with temperatures plunging back into the 60s. What a difference a couple of days makes. We're going to be in the mid-80s Monday. Tuesday, those showers roll through, and by Wednesday, we are down to 65 degrees, and there could be the chance for some areas of frost next week. Overall, a cooler pattern, but lots of sunny days ahead with only one chance of rain in that entire forecast. Kaylee, Dan?
You a singer?
No.
Did you sing in choirs as a kid?
Oh, no.
Oh, I did.
Like Britney Spears when I was 4. Absolutely. But not now.
Most choirs strive for that perfect pitch.
But in Virginia, a choir for people with memory loss and their caregivers shows how music can spark joy, connection, and remembrance. Here's Sean Martinelli.
Most choirs aim for perfect pitch.
3 more, you got it.
But in this group, it's okay if you can't carry a tune.
Army.
Director Susan Domer says those here already carry enough.
It's a chorus for people with memory issues and brain related, and their caregivers and volunteers.
People like Michael Yates, who cares for his wife Dreama.
We have good days and we have bad days, and
Very few bad days.
glory, glory, hallelujah.
Or Jean Fratsky and her grandson Albert.
Music is music, and it can bring anybody together, and that is a blessing.
Marines.
As for what the choir's called,
Forgetful Seniors. I think that's the name. Sometimes I forget.
it's actually Forgetful Friends. Those with Alzheimer's and dementia may not always remember why they're here.
But you give them a song that they sang when they were a kid or as a young adult or a teenager, and suddenly they've activated a new part of the brain.
A part of the brain where music memory is often spared.
It's a gift.
Just ask David Bosley.
Yeah.
That seat next to him wasn't always empty.
It's hardly been 4 months, and we were married almost 57 years.
David's wife Lisa battled dementia. A native of West Virginia, she never failed to light up at the sound of country roads. The choir visited Lisa and performed prior to her passing.
And she was not happy to be there when we started. But with the first few seconds, she just started singing, and her whole demeanor changed. And she thoroughly enjoyed the performance. That was the last time she really got to sing. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way.
After Lisa's passing, David kept coming.
Devon, West Virginia.
In these songs, he says it's like she never left.
Ready, and
I hear her voice in the morning hour, she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away.
Do you still feel her presence here with this choir?
So much.
Take me home, the place I belong, West Virginia.
That is the power of these forgetful friends. In lifting their voices, they lift each other.
Take me home, country roads.
Beautiful story.
Love that.
Still to come, union members at Libby Glass are still on strike, now marking the union's longest strike in decades. And today, Toledo's mayor joined them on the picket line.
Plus, Michigan taxes are expected to go up for marijuana wholesalers, but That all depends on a move by the state Senate. We talked to a dispensary owner to get his take on it.
And the new Whitmer Middle School is under construction. Those who helped design the school got a sneak peek at how things are looking inside. Thank you for being with us here on WTOL 11 Plus Now.
Here's a look at some of the local stories we're following for you tonight. Right now, workers at Libby Glass are marking 41 days on strike. Union members are fighting for new contracts, and Toledo City leaders joined them on the picket line today. Our camera spotted Mayor Wade Kapsakavage and Councilwoman Vanice Williams standing with workers today. Mayor Kapsakavage says he understands Libby recently lost $45 million in grants after cuts from the federal government, but calls the company taking it out on the workers unacceptable.
They know they're losing their tax breaks. They know that the city is they're not going to get as attractive a tax package from the city as they were getting. They know that, and they're still doing this, which is a worrisome sign when you think about the future. So we're trying everything we can.
We're here fighting with them, and we want them to get back to work. We need Libby Glass to come to the table and get the folks back to work.
Those with Libby Glass say union leaders have not made any new proposals since the start of the strike and encouraged employees to ratify the offers on the table so they can get back to work.
Marijuana users looking to buy products in Michigan could see an increase in prices come January. All depends on the Senate's decision for the proposed bill. The Michigan House has voted to increase the wholesale tax on marijuana from 15% to 24% as part of the state's budget. Legislators say the estimated $420 million from the tax increase will go directly to the state's project to fix the roads. While retail tax on marijuana remains the same at 10%, local dispensary employees are worried the increase will turn business away.
It's not a tax on the customer, but really it will be. What we are going to end up seeing is still a raise in prices to the customer because it's costing wholesale on the back end. That cost is just going to be kind of turned down the line, and eventually it's going to end up in the pockets of the consumer.
Lawmakers say this tax increase will bring Michigan from the bottom margin to the top third taxation rate on marijuana in the country. The Senate has yet to decide on the bill and to finalize the state's overall budget.
Millstream Career Center celebrated a major expansion with a ribbon cutting this afternoon in Findlay. It welcomed in nearly 100 community members to tour the new $3.4 million Streams Center. Improvements include an expansion of the engineering and manufacturing labs at the school by 2.5 times its size. Millstream's director says the hope is to grow programs in engineering, robotics, and manufacturing at the school for years to come.
Over time, it'll allow us to have 60 to 75 more seats for students. If you actually looked at our old lab in engineering, it is very tiny, and they have a lot of stuff. When we talk about robotics and design and creating things, they needed more space. And so we have had a capacity of 20 to 25 students, but we may be able to expand in that area too now that we have a bigger lab.
Funds were provided through the last 2 years from 2 state grants and additional support from companies like Marathon and Track.
The new Whitmer Middle School is currently under construction, and Washington local schools wanted to give an update on it. The school was built with inspirations of their vision team, consisting of staff, parents, students, and just folks in the community. Ideas that this group had were implemented in construction, and today the team got a sneak peek at the progress. The building's 3 floors for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, features a large gym, cafeteria, and classroom spaces. The middle school is around 60% complete, with hopes of opening in August of 2026, just in time for the new school year. Thank you for being here with us on WTOL 11 Plus now. It's Toledo's only exclusively streaming live local newscast. And since you're here, why not check out some of the other exclusive content we have on WTOL 11 Plus. On an episode of Good News Forecast, Sophia Perricone and Kaylee Bowers talk about trending Halloween costumes.
So obviously you can't have Halloween without the costumes, and we love the costumes, and Spirit Halloween just dropped this year's trends.
Marvel Mania is in full effect with Fantastic Four First Steps, inspiring bold new takes on Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. And you can't forget Spider-Man or Spider-Girl. Those have been popular forever. Elphaba and Glinda from Wicked are of course popular this year, with part 1 of the movie released last year. Part 2's coming next month.
And costumes related to Netflix hit show Squid Games are also expected to be trending this year again. What's been your most memorable Halloween costume throughout your lifetime?
I can't remember now that you're asking, but one year I dressed up as I Dream of Jeannie. Never seen it. I was way before my time, but I liked the costume, so I was the genie from I Dream of Jeannie.
I love that.
How about you?
I remember dressing up as Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. And there were a couple years I was so proud to be on like my t-ball or softball team. I just wore my uniform again. I've done a cat, and then there was one year I dressed up with 2 of my girlfriends from high school, and we were crayons.
Oh, that's cute. What color were you?
I was pink.
Yeah, I see it.
I was the pink one, and then I had a purple and I had a green.
Okay.
And it was
That's
awesome.
nice. You're almost like the Powerpuff Girls too at that point.
Oh, you're right.
Could have done that.
You know, we mentioned that Wicked. I had a feeling that's going to be very popular this year.
Oh yeah, again,
absolutely,
for sure.
That's really cool.
You can watch the full episode of Good News Forecast in just a few minutes right here on WTOL 11 Plus.
And it's a painting that seems to go on forever. That's because it does. The moving image called the Grand Panorama of a Whaling Voyage Around the World is nearly 1,300 feet long. That's taller than the Empire State Building. Completed by 2 artists in 1848, it captures the highs and lows of a whaling voyage from New Bedford, Massachusetts, and back. Every 10 to 15 days, a team at the Minnesota Marine Art Museum advances the piece another 40 feet.
It combines a slice of history, sort of the spectacle of the time period, as well as a historic piece of work.
This is fantastic. Everyone should come and everyone should see it.
Well, the piece, which is believed to be the longest in North America, was originally on display in theaters, complete with lighting and narration.
That was a
That's pretty
dangerous
cool.
way to make a living back in the day, going on a
Whaling?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said the highs and the lows. I'm sure there was a lot of both.
Lots of lows there. Pretty cool.
Lots of highs in the temperature forecast.
Yeah,
though. How are those
cute.
80s this weekend? Feeling like summer, but it comes crashing down midweek, so soak up that sun this weekend.
Thanks for joining us here on WTOL 11 Plus. We'll see you tonight at 11.